Welcome to It Takes Two. I'm Blair.
I'm Chris.
And today we'll be talking about Married at First Sight, Season 17, Episode 13.
Listen, I need y'all to subscribe, like, share, comment. We did see the after party, so we probably go sprinkle some in throughout the episode. You ready, Blair?
I'm ready.
Let's go.
We start with Becca and Austin, and Austin found a class for them to build sexy terrariums.
Mm-hmm.
They talk about some of their sex experiences, preferences, and how Becca is very sex positive. Becca's just happy to be having these conversations with him. And while they're doing the terrariums, they have like these little figurines of these people doing different sex moves. So that I guess that's supposed to help get the juices flowing. Or I guess Austin's way.
Listen here. I don't think Becca's happy they having this conversation. This is a lot to do when it comes to just having sex. Mm-hmm. Like, why are we playing with naked action figures? Why are we building a whole ecosystem?
Right.
Why are we why are you still joking about, like, you know, pegging and stuff like that? Mm-hmm. Like are you good? Do sex make Austin nervous? Because at first I thought it was he don't like Becca thing.
Yeah.
But I may have misdiagnosed him. He just seems kind of off about sex in general. And I don't know what it is. What do you think, Blair?
It can be a plethora of reasons. I mean, he goes into saying, like, later on in the episode that just the pressure of talking about it has like made it into a bigger thing. So it could be a thing, I think, of like performance anxiety, ED, or even just, you know, he's raised up in the church. Maybe he has adapted certain like thoughts about like sexuality and how it's not right or things like that, even though he's married. We've seen in previous episodes or seasons where like someone was a virgin and the thought of actually having sex or discussing sex was like taboo, even though they were in a marriage. So it's too many things to name of what it could be. I wish he would just say it. But I think we just have to go off what he has said, which is it's just putting too much pressure on him.
He's the one that put the pressure on by doing all this other stuff. But I guess I think we're going to see more of this throughout the episode. Let's go.
Yeah. Well, Cameron is going to have his heart surgery. And that's all I wrote about that.
Yeah.
Godspeed.
Yeah. Whatever.
Brennan and Emily talk about the night before.
Yeah.
And she feels like he's shutting down. And that's what made her snap, you know, when they were in the hot tub. She said, I didn't think you were going to pass out. So that's why I was irritated and snapped on you. Mm-hmm. He says he was trying to do the right thing, like communicating. He didn't mean to hurt her. He wants to keep in mind his delivery and how he comes across.
Listen here, Brennan. Matter of fact, let me start with Emily first. I said I'm off her, right?
Right.
So anything and everything that Emily goes through on this show, she deserves. And the reason why she deserves it is because she allows it.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? When given a reference to last episode to where she was talking to Dr. Pepper and things like that, she was very going along with the flow, not speaking her mind. And now they having a conversation about, well, I didn't think you was going to pass out in the hot tub. What are we talking about, guys?
Yeah.
Really, what are we talking about? And Brennan over here, I don't even know what Brennan's doing or even trying to do or his intention of like basically like, you know, reset and things like that. And like, you know, I'm just trying to answer the questions. No, I seen you literally skip like 3 questions and
you're hemming and hawing and breathing hard.
Exactly.
And like stressed out. Like,
in the hot tub.
What is the problem?
So what questions were you like, how are you basically saying, like, yeah, I basically was trying to do my part, but, you know, like, maybe next time. I'm like, yo, y'all both are acting weird to me now. What do you think about this thing?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Emily further goes on to say that she appreciates his apologies, but it really doesn't mean anything if he doesn't make any changes.
But he hasn't.
And I agree with that. I mean, to me, he's dragging his feet to decision day. He said in the past that divorce is not an option, so I'm thinking that he's trying to get her to leave him. It's just very odd. It's very odd.
Make any changes. This is a consistent person he's been this whole time.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like, it's just a weird thing. Continue.
Well, they have an exercise to write a note to their younger selves.
Yeah.
Emily writes a note to her high school self, and she writes about her dad and how he pushed her, but it also pushed her to greatness. Brennan writes about his teenage self, and pretty much all I got from that was he was telling himself to be proud of who he is.
Really?
Yeah.
let's move on. Because this is, it's no free flowing. These things supposed to lead to other things.
Deeper conversations.
It's not supposed to lead to, you're done? Mm-hmm. I'm done? All right, we did what we were supposed to do.
Exactly.
And then Brennan goes home. You get what I'm saying? It's supposed to actually be an icebreaker to a greater relationship, to a greater bond, to a greater union.
Right.
But y'all just doing things just to do it. And then once the camera people leave, y'all like, we did what they asked us to do, and that's it.
Right.
But you're not really trying. Continue.
Brennan says his friend's dad was his mentor.
Yeah.
And he put pressure on himself to grow up quickly. When kids were outside playing, he'd be sitting up underneath his friend's dad, just picking his brain. He says that he could have enjoyed life a bit more. Emily feels like she's getting a better understanding of him by him sharing that.
Emily, you're just going with the flow. Really, you're just going with the flow. And I think it's to the point where you've been so, and I don't want to use the word abuse, because I feel like that word has weight and we should keep the weight on that word. But you've been so
beat down, maybe
not beat down, but you've been so doctrinated to this person to where anything he gives you, you don't even understand or realize that it's a crumb.
Right.
You realize you're just happy to get anything. You get what I'm saying? So listen here, if you like it, Emily, I love it.
Yeah.
Continue.
Next, Claire talks to Cameron. Why is Claire here and Cameron?
Because she's on the show.
Usually when couples are no longer together, then we are freed of them. But this season, it is a whole different story. Anyway, so Claire is talking to us, the camera, about Cameron. And she says he's doing okay. She was very worried about him. And she called him, tried to see what she could do. She wanted to let him know that she has so much support for him. And he just told her to hang back, don't come to surgery. Pretty much he's good.
Yeah, so. I have no problem with people being on the show, because if you sign up to be on the show, just because you want to leave early doesn't mean you get to leave early. So Claire, if you go be on the show, be on the show. But don't lie to me on the show with the whole idea of she letting him know that I want to let him know that he has so much support from my family and from myself. I'm like, where was the support when y'all was in marriage? Like, this is the most you talk to him since y'all been married. Claire, there have been times throughout this whole process the way you've been cold. There's been times throughout this whole process where it looked like y'all didn't even like each other. So the most affection and the most feelings and emotional you've been is when he's in the hospital about to get surgery. Is this about Cam or is this about you? Are you trying to portray yourself as someone who's a nice person, who's a good person and things like that? You over here using words like best friend and things like that. And I'm like, you haven't, when there was time to show that, you did not show that.
Yeah.
So I don't understand why you're trying to reverse engineer this whole process as if you're this concerned wife. Y'all played the game 1, 2, 3 divorce just a couple episodes ago. So I really don't get the whole Claire, I'm so concerned about him. I think you're concerned because I think that's the role that a good person takes. But I don't think Claire, the person, is concerned about Cameron. What do you think about this scene, Blair?
Yeah, I feel like she's concerned about his well-being, but I do feel like she's putting a lot of sauce on it. Just letting him know that you're there for him is enough. But she does come across like she's trying to appear like she's in distress about the situation.
Yeah.
And I don't know how authentic that is.
It doesn't feel that way.
It doesn't feel that way.
It doesn't come off that way at all to me. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, the couples and Claire meet up.
Third wheel.
Yep. Fifth wheel. Yep. So there's Emily, Becca, and Claire, and then the guys are on the grill. Brennan shares that they did an adjustment to take the pressure off, but they're in a much better place now. Emily says that they have different communication styles, but they talked everything out. Becca talks about how, she's not getting laid and how Emily's not getting laid and how it's kind of crazy how we're a month into our marriage and this is where we're at.
No one's getting laid.
Austin says Becca is more sexually driven.
Yeah.
He says he gets into his head about that because of all the talking about the sex. Claire says that she can be negative about the process and where they're at. Then Claire is like jumping in throughout the conversations. I feel like trying to give advice and her perspective and things like that. She also shares that Cameron had surgery and, he's doing good, but she feels that she's meant to be in his life and be there for him.
Hey, listen, politely, I'm going to say this as nice as possible. Claire, shut up. That's That's as nice as I can say it.
Yeah.
It'd be so funny how the one who has the failed marriage, the one that played the 1, 2, 3 divorce game, want to give advice on everybody else's marriage and things like that, because it's so easy to give advice when you don't have to be under the weight of it. Exactly. You get what I'm saying? If you isolate yourself from it and be on the outside of it, you could be like, yeah, y'all need to communicate more. Did you communicate? Mm-hmm. Did you this support? It's so easy to support someone and to come off to us who basically, you're not married to me, you're not married to Blair, so you basically be like, you know what, I'm gonna be out and I'm gonna be supportive of Cameron. But Cameron's like, you worry too much. Yeah. And I'm not even a Cam fan. If everybody watch me, I feel like he has a weird aura, and just because his chest hurt doesn't change my opinion on that. Mm-hmm. My whole point is y'all both contributed to the state that y'all in right now. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? This whole thing of like, I feel bad because he need people. Guess what? When Cam got married, I didn't see a whole groom side with nobody sitting there. I saw people sitting there. So guess what? The people who are in Cam's life, I think he lives in somebody's basement. The people that's in Cam's life can stay there for Cam. Why are you trying to come off on camera as if you love Cam so much now? Yeah, it's just the weirdest thing. It's weird thing. Mm-hmm. Going to Austin, you're making it weird now with the sex thing. And I'm not even trying to make it like a masculine thing in the sense of if she give you the green light, why can't you go? Yeah. But I feel like you also contributed to the pressure of you of like your sex issue. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? Because you're not being as forthright of why you don't want to have sex and things like that. Only thing you keep saying is not time. Yeah, and things like slow. That. And I understand if the shoe is on the other foot, we may view it differently, but the shoe is not on the other foot. Yeah. Most of the time, society-wise, if the woman give consent, the guy already halfway undressed. You get what I'm saying? Right. And with you, you're giving off weird vibes to sex. At first, I thought it was a Becca thing, but I think it's an overall issue that you may have with intimacy when it comes to sex. What did you think about this scene and things that happened in this scene, Blair? Yeah, I pretty much just felt that. I mean, I agree with everything that you said. Really. Oh my goodness, I'm a psychic. Yeah, I don't have too much to say about it. Yeah, and I also don't like what Brennan was talking about. Like the adjustment period is good. Like it's just a overall. When I saw this scene, I have to think to myself that the experts are like, we really did a bad job this season. Yeah. Like them. And I also think it's the people, because I just can't get over the fact of how dishonest Emily is. Oh, yeah. It's like, and I understand if she's fearful and all these different types of things, but the level of dishonesty is like, there's no way this is going to work. Yeah. And it makes me question, you know, not only her, but how do these people present themselves for them to get picked? I just feel like it's a bunch of liars. So so you basically say potentially not only are they lying on the show to us or what we see on TV, but they may have lied in the picking process when it comes to the expert. I didn't even think that far. Yeah, because I'm even looking at Claire and how she acts and what she does versus what she says is just totally opposite. And so many people on the show say one thing and do the opposite or claim to be this way, but they're not actually this way. No. Maybe they're working to be this type of person. So I feel like people put down all of what they believe was their best qualities or the person they want to be and not exactly who they are. Yeah. That's crazy. Continue. Well, Becca says that, you know, you're giving him the biggest gift by caring for him, talking to Claire. And Claire says, we're dealing with hard things. She says she's going to stay true to her vows and be as supportive as she can. She doesn't want to hurt him more than she has. But you said that you want to stay true to your vows, but you said 1, 2, 3, divorce. Well, she said separate. 1, 2, 3, separate. And I feel like she meant that to be vague. To basically be able to go back and forth? Right. To continue to straddle the fence and have her idea sway as to whether or not she wants to be together or not. So I think that was intentional vagueness, which to me is annoying. Yeah, no, it is. Continue. Yes. So everyone goes inside to play pool. Michael arrives with a crown. Hello, Michael. Since I saw it, I was like, when is he going to take that crown off? Listen here, brother. Don't let nobody tell you ain't a king, brother. And it's not even so much the crown.
as much as it was a gift from the ex-wife that didn't want anything to do with you.
That is kind of crazy.
So I'm just like, can you just like get rid of all the remnants and let's move into the future wholeheartedly?
Yeah.
But he says that this is going to be the last time he wears the crown. I want him to throw it away.
Okay.
That's what I want. But maybe it's memorabilia. I don't know.
Who knows?
He tells everyone that he's getting married.
Yeah.
And they all say, you know, let's just turn this into a positive. And when the ladies, you know, meet her and discuss things with her, everybody says they're going to speak to his character of how he's such a great guy and he handled everything with grace. And then he invites everyone to the wedding. Becca and Austin are going to be out of town, but Emily and Brennan say that they'll be there. I didn't hear a response from Claire.
We don't listen. I'm taken aback on how they gonna speak on Michael's character when this like probably my fourth time seeing him on like the TV screen.
Yeah, they don't know this man that well.
I'm about to say like, please before you tell her, tell us what Michael's character is because I don't know much about this guy. Yeah. Besides, he was about to internalize this experiment.
That's his biggest failure of his life. Like he did something
which he didn't even put together. So it just strange. Continue.
Yes. Well, Brennan FaceTimes his friend who is married.
I think this probably was your favorite scene if I was to put it if I was the guest player.
Yeah. It felt the most satisfying.
Yeah.
Brennan shares that he's not used to not having a romantic element in his relationship. He says the experts recommended that they get deeper with the emotional connection.
Yeah.
His friend says, you know, actions speak louder than words. Brennan says, you know, we're trying to hug more. And his friend Richie says Brennan can get in his head about things too much. He says one thing can get in your head and then it's hard for you to snap out of it. Richie, like he even gives an example of like where maybe they were in a roommate situation. Somebody left some food out or did something. And then Brennan was mad at the person, never said anything, but there was this underlying just negativity in the house. Brennan says that, you know, well, we have lunch. Richie says, I can have lunch with my friends. That's not romantic. He says, don't make these things chores. You can be flirtatious and fun. That fun thing got brought up again. I think that's why it bothered him so much because people know he's not fun. Brennan says that he could express himself better. Richie says, ask her how her day was. Like, take a genuine interest in your wife. You're getting too stuck in the motions of how life should be. Yeah. Brennan says that he does feel stuck, but he's going to try to talk and get deeper about stuff and to talk about family stuff. Brennan says that Emily is caring, giving, sweet, and he thinks she's amazing. So he hopes a romance element will come.
What did you think about that scene, Blair?
Oh, man. Finally, somebody was able to call him out without him acting crazy. And I think it's because Brennan knows his friends and his friends know how he is. Now I'll say one thing about Emily and the fun comment from the honeymoon. I think that really hit him deep because not only did his friend say flirt and have fun and just let loose, but even when Brennan was saying that when he was younger, he wouldn't go out and play with other kids. So I feel like that might be like a childhood issue of him getting called boring or lame or square. And I feel like that probably really hurt his feelings. But of course, he'll never say it because he barely says anything. Yeah. Then when I like that Richie was saying, okay, all the things you're telling me are things that you can do with a friend. Yeah. Like you're not taking the reins of really turning this around.
Richie don't know about the reset. That's the problem. He don't know about the reset. We are friends, Richie.
So Richie, thank you for putting it plainly to him so that way he can see where he's in the wrong. And it seems like he only will listen to certain people. I mean, he even rattles off the positive things about Emily when Dr. Pepper could barely get 1.5 things out of him. So, yeah. So, when it comes to Brennan talking about he doesn't need therapy, I think he absolutely does. But I think for different reasons. Dr. Pia says you need to learn what you feel because everybody has feelings. Brennan knows what he feels. He doesn't want to tell nobody. He knows, and it's good enough for him to know by himself. And he doesn't care who else knows and understands.
Well, I can't help it if you are square, Brennan. I can't help it if you are lame, Brennan. I can't help it if you're boring, Brennan. I can't help it if you're erratic, Brennan. All those things that you may feel like it hits the core, you are those things. Throughout this process, you've been a square. One thing my wife said while watching the show, she said, oh, Brennan can talk. Because guess what? Throughout this process, you have chosen to be silent. You have chosen to be difficult. You have chosen to be erratic. You have chosen to be what's the word? Just not fully cooperative with the whole process. And then with your friend who talks to you, he basically give you the how to be a normal person for dummy book and stuff like that. He basically say, hey, don't make it feel like a chore. Make it like ask her how she really feel. Care about how you really feel. Your friend did not say anything that's rocket science.
No.
He did not. Even though like your friend probably was like, hey, like it's not a even though you talking about the things y'all done, that's things that we do. We have good times together and laugh, things like that. But you signed up, and this is the thing. This is why I said all those things in those words that you used, Blair, to describe him, because no one made him sign up for the process, but he.
Yeah.
It was his choice to be. What's the point of you being on this show? To go through this process. You've seen the show before. Because most of the time, if you're on the show, you've seen the show.
Yeah.
Right? What's the point of you coming on this show and for you to act the way you're acting? You know what was going to be displayed. You know how like your life was going to be basically for everybody to see. So for you to basically take on the role of basically we go act one way off camera, but act another way on camera, it's like why? How does that benefit you besides wasting your time?
Yeah.
And things like that. So for somebody that actually have to tell you, ask her how her day was, you ain't ready. You ain't ready to be married at first sight. For someone to actually say, like, take interest in her and things like that, you ain't ready to, like, even, you're talking about let's just be friends. You ain't ready to be a friend. These are things that friends do to each other. And you get what I'm saying? And maybe, what's his name, Richie?
Yeah.
Maybe Richie just friends with you because, we all have that friend that we just, we feel sorry for.
They're our special friend, and they've been our friend for a long time.
So guess what? Listen, somebody got to be their friend. Everybody needs at least one friend. Maybe you're that one friend for everybody else that everybody be like, he's not a friend. He's kind of weird. He don't come outside and things like that. But, really deep down, he's harmless. Maybe you're that friend. But this, as some people may see it as a breakthrough, I seen this as pitiful and sad that another grown man got to tell another grown man to take interest in somebody.
Yeah.
Like it's ridiculous. Continue.
Well, Dr. Pia comes to talk to Austin and Becca about their sexual intimacy.
Yeah.
And the sexual intimacy has been slow.
Whoa.
They haven't progressed much, and Austin feels bad about it, and he acknowledges that it's mostly on him. He says he typically likes to move slow. He even gives us a range of 3 to 6 months of actually, like, knowing and meeting somebody.
You're halfway there, Becca.
Becca hasn't had a relationship that moves this slowly, and she's not feeling desired, and it's been difficult. Austin tells her that the desire is there. He just moves slower than most. Austin doesn't know what's holding him back. I don't believe you.
No, I don't believe you at all.
I do not believe you. I feel like you don't want to say. And if you don't know, then I think you need to have a deeper conversation with the experts and say, help me find out.
I'm about to say, for
can y'all help me? Because I really don't know.
I'm about to say, for someone who don't know, you don't seem eager to find out.
No.
You get what I'm saying? You just like, it just takes time.
Yeah.
But if this was something that I really wanted to participate in as well, I'd be, listen here, every scene of me would be with me with a, they would have had to bring somebody on the outside to come talk to me. You get what I'm saying? If I was as concerned. Go ahead, Blair.
Yeah. Well, the pressure about it, with talking about it, has made him get stuck in his head. Dr. Pia says, well, maybe we can increase foreplay, have emotional conversations, touch, have some sexy talk. Becca said that she would be comfortable initiating foreplay, but she doesn't want to pressure him into sex. He says that we can try it. He doesn't know if that'll make him feel pressured. And Dr. Pia says, let's remove all expectations, that anything has to happen in a certain way.
Well, that's kind of hard to do because this whole therapy session is about like getting us closer to intimacy sex.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like, did you have any thoughts on like this scene?
Only thing I really had to say about it is that I just wish Austin was a little bit more eager to figure out why he doesn't want to be intimate, or if he does know, maybe he can tell Becca like, hey, it has to do with something in my past. I don't really feel comfortable sharing it on camera, but it's something I need to work through. I mean, there's plenty of sexual encounter situations SA situations as well that can turn people off from it and become fearful. So I'm not saying that he needs to hurry up and get it over with, but I wish he would be eager to figure it out and to voice those concerns to his wife. So that way there's a better understanding on both sides, because she's just feeling like you're just not into me. And if that's the case, then you need to tell her that. So
do like you feel like Becca is doing a bad job, and maybe bad job is too frank, but do you feel like Becca's doing a bad job in pressuring him and basically getting to that point with her?
I don't feel like she's doing a bad job, because I feel like she's like handling him with like kid gloves.
Yeah.
Like whenever she talks about things, at least the way it comes across on the show is that she's very like joking and lighthearted about stuff. So she'll bring it up, but it also seems like she doesn't want to be too direct about it, which, I mean, I'm all about directness. And I think sometimes that can be very heavy handed for some people. Like they can't accept that kind of, way of communication. So I feel like she's doing the absolute best she can. I don't know what more she could do.
Yeah, me neither. Because I would say that maybe she's too horny. But I'm like, I mean, if I've been married for this long, I came on the show, I actually like you. She even said that she believes that I believe she said that she thinks he's hot. She's turned on by him. And maybe Goofy is just her personality. I remember the scene where she was with the baby taking pictures and stuff like that. Like maybe that's just her personality. And I'm like, maybe like, you know, he's just not turned on by her goofiness and things of that nature. But I think it's deeper than that. Yeah. It's way deeper than that. But I guess we gonna find out if this advice that Dr. Pia gave him gonna work. Yeah. Continue.
Next, Emily and Brennan play soccer.
Yeah.
Emily played soccer growing up, and she was very competitive. Brennan is actually really impressed with her soccer skills, and he shares that he played soccer and baseball.
Yeah.
They both started off bad and got really good when it came to their respective sports. Emily says that, you know, she felt too pushed by her dad, but Brennan wishes that he would have had a push from somebody outside of him, because there's only so much you can do on your own as far as getting better, and he actually didn't end up making his high school teams. Her dad pushing her did help her with her leadership skills overall. She was like a team captain and all these different things. So just more information about her dad and things like that. I would say that in this scene, it seemed like Brennan was having a genuine good time. It seemed like his guard was let down. He was smiling more. And when they were having their discussion, it seemed more free flowing. I did felt like there was an improvement there.
It wasn't no fishbowl or questions or anything like that.
Right.
It was a regular human conversation, human connection. Continue.
Yeah. Well, Dr. Pia sends a gift basket of sex toys to Becca and Austin, and they have these exercises. So he has to blindfold her and guide her around the apartment to him. And like at each point, he has to share an intimate detail about himself. So he shares that his toes are ticklish.
Stop.
Okay.
You're weird about sex. This is a chance and an opportunity for you to try.
Yeah.
And for you to give your full self to intimacy, to sex, to all these things. And when it came down to, for one, it's already weird that she's blindfolded. We're using the blindfold to play scavenger hunt with the obstacles. Cool.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. The first thing that when it comes to sex or intimacy and things of getting to that nature, you say, my feet are ticklish.
It's just jokes all day, every day.
I mean, like, I'm about to
just
say,
a jokey joke.
You're not trying, my guy.
Exactly.
You're not trying. You're not trying. And then it got to the point to where she got to the next obstacle and she's waiting for like you to share another fact, and you're like, I like it when you talk dirty to me. Do you like sex?
Yeah.
Like now I'm to the point where at first I was asking, does he like Becca?
Yeah.
Now I'm like, do you like sex? Becca is doing everything in this episode trying to entice him. She got I think in one scene I saw her with a pickle in her hand, like all up in his face with the pickle and stuff. Yeah. It's just it's a lot of, for two heterosexual people that are into each other, it just seems like one is trying very hard. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it can't be a faith thing.
Yeah.
Because I heard what you said about maybe it's his religion. But if it's a faith thing, usually they say wait till marriage.
But some people, when they get to that marriage space, they don't feel comfortable in their sexuality because for so long they've told not to have sex.
I understand that. You know? I understand that. But until he tells us that he was a virgin, because he was like, usually it's like 3 to 6 months. And I'm like, it'd probably be easier if you just to be like, I'm not, like I don't be having sex.
Yeah.
Like, so they going through this little obstacle course as Blair was telling us and things like that. And it was cringy to watch. How did you feel watching that, Blair?
At first, I thought it was funny. And then I was like, how is this going to actually build intimacy? Because they're approaching it the same way they do the intimacy talk every time with the hee ha ha jokes. And him telling like non-sexy facts. He said something about he liked her boobs. And he said, oh, is that an intimate detail? So, yeah.
But that was after she had to tell him. She said, say something about my breasts.
Yeah.
And that's when he's like, well, I guess, tits. And I'm just like, bruh. Like.
So, yeah, I think there's something deeper.
There's something deeper that's wrong with you.
And there's something really off. Because, like they say, they kiss. They, like, make out naked and be rolling around in the bed and all this type of stuff. So, what is going on?
She did say, I wish that we can make out longer in the last meetup with the thing. So even when they kiss, it's not a makeout session. It seems like he's only making out to appease her, but not letting things naturally flow to that next stage.
Yeah.
Many times than not, if you're with a lady or if you're with a guy and y'all making out, things get hot and heavy, and the next thing you know, I'm naked.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? I feel like he's getting right to the point where she's like appeased, maybe a little with a little you know what I mean? And then like that's it.
Right.
You know what I mean? But he's giving me trouble with sex in general, and I can't put my finger on it. Yeah. Anything else you want to share on that scene?
That's all I got.
Okay, I did give a good demonstration. I felt like it was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Dr. Pia is going back to visit Emily and Brennan.
Hello, Dr. Pia.
Yes. Brennan feels that they're in a good space, they're having fun, and there's been less pressure on the relationship.
Yeah.
Emily tells Dr. Pia that there was pushback from her recommendations about, touch the last time she was there, and things actually went backwards for a while. Brennan says, well, we're not going to dwell on the past. He says that we do hug more, and Emily says it's his rules. That wasn't what you told us to do when it comes to the hugging. Brennan says that it's frustrating to hear that it's my rules. Emily tells him to come up with something, and then he does, and she just agrees with it. Dr. Pia says that you guys didn't do the exercise. Why do you think that happened?
Yeah.
Emily thinks that he just didn't want to do it. Dr. Pia asks Brennan what's happening.
Come on.
When she talks to Emily, he always jumps in and gives pushback. Dr. Pia pauses the conversation and says, look, I'm hearing two different versions. Yeah. It sounds like Emily is holding back from what she's truly feeling or what she wants to say. Emily feels that sometimes if she says things that aren't good to hear, she feels defensive comments and actions from Brennan. Emily says that Brennan is reactive off camera, and he tries to avoid having those things being shown on camera. Emily does agree to things that she doesn't want to agree with, but feels that she has been trying to speak up for herself.
Okay, Emily.
Brennan says that she always speaks her mind and doesn't know where this is coming from. Dr. Pia asks if he thinks he's being defensive. He says that he thinks if someone's coming at him, he should be able to defend himself.
Yeah.
And Dr. Pia says, well, I'm asking the questions, so no need to get mad at Emily, pretty much.
I'm asking the questions.
And Brennan allows, his friends to challenge and push him, but he feels blindsided and doesn't know if he'd allow Emily to push and challenge him in the same way.
Stop right there for a second. It's a lot. It's a lot to digest.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't know if y'all notice. I just tell you small things before I notice, and then Blair, I'll let you go, and then I come back with my analysis. Right. Okay. When they first sat down, he sat down close to her, and then he adjusted away from her.
Yeah, he scooted away.
Yes.
He put space between.
He put space in between. Listen here. I don't know, based off of... I'm going to sprinkle in a little Afterparty in this a little bit, right? Based off the Afterparty and based off what they're telling us. One thing that stood out to me is she said he's one way. She said this in the confessional. He's one way off camera. Basically, they have like a script. Like, we basically go do this. And then on camera, you know what I mean? Like, she kind of went against the script in a way. And that's where you kind of see his apprehension a little bit. That's when you saw him visibly get disturbed to where Dr. P had to stop it and be like, wait. What is this, Brennan?
Yeah.
What is this like what's going on? And he's basically like, I don't know where this is coming from. I think he knows exactly where it's coming from, but you didn't follow the script. You're supposed to hide where it's coming from.
Right.
And things like that. And my whole thing is, if y'all going to agree, because if Emily agreed to do this, then Emily, you're just as guilty.
Yeah.
If y'all agreed to do this, get off my show.
Yeah.
Get off my show. Because I'm like, why do yourself the disservice? Which makes us have to review the disservice. You get what I'm saying? What did you feel so far in this first part of Dr. P and Brennan and Emily and things of that nature, Blair?
Well, one thing I want to say is that I am happy that Emily spoke up and she just didn't just okay, and yes, the situation away. Like I feel like she did with the situation with Dr. Pepper.
With Dr. Pepper, you're right.
Yeah. So I'm glad that she spoke up. And I do get irritated with Brennan for constantly jumping in.
That's facts.
And trying to control the conversation. And even during this conversation, he said, can we switch to something more positive? Can we not focus on the past? What do you mean the past? It's been 4 weeks. Last week?
First of all, you're not even like, it kind of shows like it's so much. Brennan is such a bag of mixed nuts that if you really pick out one to describe him, you can be 100% right. You can pull out a nut that says he don't respect women because Dr. P is doing her job and trying to do the job that she gets paid for. He don't pay her, by the way. This is free counseling sessions that they are giving y'all so y'all can have successful marriages that y'all can find on your own in the first place. So that's for one, right? And when she's talking, you go cut her off and basically say, can we talk about something else? No, because you don't pay me.
Exactly.
You get what I'm saying? So for one, you don't respect her for one, her authority
and
her expertise over like her coming and trying to help you. That's the thing that I'm confused about. Anything else? I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. Yeah. So, and just more to say that I do feel like, Emily, if you're just agreeing to things off camera to try to keep the peace, nothing will ever be peaceful by doing that.
No.
Because you still feel the way that you feel. And whenever that bubbles up, like when you told him to, suck it up in the hot tub.
Yeah, buttercup.
Because you're irritated and annoyed with his antics.
Yeah.
It's going to rear its ugly head over and over again. So it's better to just be honest. So that's how I felt about that.
Let's all continue. I think Brennan's going to go on with some type of thing, talk about like, we're building trust. What I mean?
Brennan says that they're building trust.
Yeah.
And trust for him is consistency and doing what they say they're going to do.
That right there already let me know what script what script y'all got that we ain't got.
Exactly.
Come on.
So from my understanding, that means that y'all agreed to talk about the positive week you had and how y'all are getting along.
Soccer.
Yeah. And Emily said, okay. And then she came on and started telling the truth. Why would she do that?
You broke my trust. I'm like, wait a minute.
He says he needs communication if she wants to change her mind, because Dr. Pia says, well, what if she changes her mind on something? She's allowed to change her mind. And he says, well, I need communication. I don't think that would make a difference. But,
no. Okay. No. We hear you. Go ahead.
He says, we agree on this, but then she says, now I'm thinking this. He says that, he didn't think they needed to dive so deep in the conversation they had today. Brennan, we're in therapy.
Yeah.
We are going to get as shallow or as deep as we need to be.
And truth be told, this is light therapy. This is not even like real therapy for real.
This is light therapy.
This is talking about your marriage. You talk about let's not go in the past. We not even talking about your childhood. We ain't talking about your parents, your grandmama, your mima, and things like that. We talking about literally what happened from the last time I was here. Yeah. Literally, that's it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So for him to, like you said, like not respect the expertise of the counselors and the therapists and what they're offering, then maybe Brennan should say, I decline to speak with a therapist.
Come on now.
Just decline. Don't have her come up here in her cute red dress and her pearls and sit up here and have to deal with you not wanting to discuss the questions that she has. You don't get to control the conversation. Do you get to go to the doctor and say, don't ask me about my stomach, ask me about my toes?
Even though
you have a stomach ache.
Listen here.
Get out of here.
My whole thing is this. I think maybe Emily went in with the whole assumption of like, you know what? I am going to follow the script. But what do you think Emily wants out of all of this? I think at the same time, Emily wants a good, healthy marriage.
Yeah, I think she really wants that.
And the problem with that is you want to follow the script, and she may agree to follow the script, but Dr. Piet is there, and she is attentive to her, and out of the whole week or day or whatever, this is the most attentive a person has been to her. Yeah. So when someone asks her, how do you feel? It's kind of hard. Oh my gosh, it's kind of hard to resist the urge to really say how you feel, especially if you've been feeling silenced, especially if you feel like you've been feeling rejected, bad, all these things. And now you talking about, building trust, and Emily like, when did I break it? You haven't even been here enough for me to break it and things like that. Yeah. Let's continue on with this session.
Emily says that she feels that she's gone above and beyond for him to not feel away. Yeah. And Dr. Pia says, look, you guys are both on the defense and you need to explain to him like what you really need. Yeah. And Emily is saying that she's just trying to be honest in a way to move forward. And she shares that she wants to be in a healthy friendship. And that's really what she needs. Brennan doesn't want to dwell on the past, and he says, if you disagree with something, just tell me and just be in the moment with me.
And this is why I particularly, I am a fan of therapy. I am not a fan of lying in therapy. Yeah. Brennan just stood up there and lied and made it seem like when it was about him and things that he done wrong and things that he looking at the ground. You know what I mean? He's not making eye contact. But when it came down to things that Emily can do, that's basically like, things that she, quote unquote, been doing, he's there agreeing with Dr. Pia. At first, she was Pia. Yeah. But now she's Dr. P. At first, it's like, wait now, let's talk about something else. But now, like, when she's basically saying, like, next time communicate with it, he's like, thank you. And I'm like, no. You're not tricking nobody, Brennan. Yeah. You're not tricking nobody, especially if Emily's going to come on the after party and expose you. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? It's just a weird... I have to guess that the experts are looking at... The experts have the answer for this. I feel like based on every season that I've seen of Married at First Sight, it wasn't this bad. Yeah. To where the worst thing that can happen on this show is that you get a divorce on decision day. But now we're talking about the whole how people feel emotionally, mentally. We are seeing things that I feel like I've never seen on this show before. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? That have to do with some people's character and even just the ethics of the show and things like coming on the show and saying we go act one way off camera and be another way on camera. I feel like they have to address that and things like that and give their opinion and their expertise on that. Go ahead, Blair.
Yeah, then we go over to Austin and Becca. So he has set up flower petals, candles in the bedroom. Yeah. And she is happy that he initiated some intimacy. They play a game of Sexy Truth or Dare. They make out, and then they send the cameras out. We find out during after party, ain't nothing happened. Listen here, Austin. He says they moved in a further direction to where they were going to, but Emily said, I spoke to Becca, and ain't nothing happened.
And listen here, let's talk about the after party. What are your opinions?
Emily was on 1,000, yo.
I'm about to say
she was on 1,000.
What did you feel about the after party, Blair?
Oh my goodness. So just to kind of rehash a little bit. So Austin is answering Keisha's questions about the episode, what he's trying to do with intimacy and all these different things. Emily is interjecting and just basically just being a Debbie Downer and saying, Becca tells me everything. I don't feel like you're trying. Did you talk to the experts about what's really going on? And trying to hold him accountable for something that really she should have no opinion on.
I'm about to say,
there are opinions you can have about people's arguments and disagreements, but whether somebody has sex is not your place to say hurry up and do it or wait or whatever the hell.
Yeah, I think with her, she took on the role of Keisha, which was kind of strange to watch because Keisha's black. And I was watching. I was like, "Why are you questioning him when, for one, the question wasn't even pertain to you? No. And now you over here questioning, like, you didn't even put the rose petals down. And I'm just like, why are we on that? Like, you're basically making it seem like everything about Austin and things of that nature of him trying to progress to a level is a lie, and it could be. It could be. You get what I'm saying? And then when we got to you, I'm not even going to address Michael. Michael was there, but right. But when it got to Emily want to be combative with Keisha when she's basically. Emily was acting like Brennan. She's talking but saying a whole bunch of nothing.
And Keisha was trying to figure out what was actually said. Yeah. she's talking like they play the scene of, them having like, their disagreement or whatever with Dr. Pia, and Emily, is saying things like, oh, well, he's gaslighting me and he actually didn't enjoy soccer and he was yelling at me the whole time beforehand because of something I said, but I don't really know what I said. And Keisha's like, well, as the audience, we would like to know what was said so we can actually piece together what happened, because you're giving me your interpretations of the situation, but we'd like to know the actual factuals.
Yeah. And my thing is, I don't even think it was so much of her not telling Keisha what she said. Maybe she didn't remember at the moment. But it's the whole idea of like telling Keisha to move on.
Yeah, or ask me a different question.
Like, no, you're a guest. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? And this is why I think this season is the weirdest thing. You basically make us sit through a 90-minute show to put on a 20-minute show that tell us to disregard the 90 minutes that we just watched.
Yeah, because everything's fake. Everybody being fake.
And I'm like, I don't really understand that. One of the things got to go. They both can't exist now.
Yeah.
Get rid of the after show so we can believe what we see, or let us see the after show so we don't have to sit through 90 minutes of lies. We going through the whole thing. Now we finding out that Brennan like the pace when he's angry. He throw things at the wall. There has been, just to make clear, he hasn't hit her. She hasn't said he abused me, but he has temper tantrum is what I like to call him, and things like that. And it's like, oh, okay, but you didn't say none of that to the doctors. Yeah. You didn't say none of that to the experts. What can Keisha do for you? It's already been recorded. And that's why I'm like, whatever Emily gets, she deserves. Like you trying to have this fight against Keisha and like against us and things like that. But then eventually she over there crying, and now she want to open up, because at the end of the day, like Keisha made it plainly, hey, listen here, I'm not your enemy. Right. We are not your enemy. You're on this after show to basically give us some insight. And you're basically saying, this happened and that happened and yada, yada, yada. And Keisha like, hey, can you give us something? And eventually she breaks down. And what she basically says is that Brennan is a terrible husband.
Yeah. And she didn't feel safe.
No.
Even though she said that she did.
That is dangerous.
So Emily needs to start being honest and truthful, because nobody can help you when you lie. Yeah. And to me, even if you're lying to keep the peace, or lying to, not ruffle feathers, or whatever the case she's doing, you're lying and it's not serving you in any way. Your deception is making your situation worse.
And that's what I'm saying. And I'm like, oh, so you're willing to take the risk of having someone marry you, or have somebody matchmake you to marry you, but at the same time, you're going to lie and not be fully honest in the whole process. And no one made you sign up for this process. Yeah. So it just strange.
And then my other thing with Emily is that she'll lie to the experts, but she'll tell her friends all the dirty details. She'll tell the confessional her dirty details. So the people who could actually help you, you don't want to tell them exactly what's going on. No. So to me, that sounds like you don't actually want help, or you don't actually want them in your business to change anything. So it's annoying to watch.
Yeah, Brennan says something across the lines that she said. She said that Brennan told her, hey, let's just be good on camera. Let's not display anything. Like, just let's follow the script on camera. I promise after the show, we go to marriage counseling and then get things like that. So I'm like, so y'all just basically sign up.
And she agreed to that.
And my thing is, y'all sign up for this whole process and not go with the process. That is very strange. If you're going to do that, you should be better off finding your own partner and things like that. So basically from the jump, you decided to like, okay, we just go say yes on decision day based on however you act with things like that. And then at the end, you believe at the end of the day, he'd go to counseling for you.
That y'all got to pay for when y'all getting free counseling on the show.
Anything else, Blair?
Somebody get them together. And as much as I want the experts to come and speak and, on account of these people,
they have to speak.
I really want them to speak, but I really think they got a bunch of liars. I think this group is a bunch of liars.
If I was Pastor Cal, that's the first thing I'm saying. They lied to me. But no, I think the experts have to talk about this season. Yeah. Because this is not a Paige and Chris season. This is not that. This is challenging the very ethics of the show and the whole premise of the show. Yeah. And it's very strange. I never seen a season like this before. Me neither. No. Anything else?
That's all I got.
Y'all be good.
Bye.